Everyone's Ellis, and this is the patch 14.5 notes rundown, and this could very well be the last real patch that we have in Season 14, if the Curse of 6 remains true. So we got a lot of changes. Let's just get right over it. And rank 1 and split timing. Split 1 end date is going to be May 14th at 2024 at 11:59 p.m. to your local time, and then split 2 start date will be exactly at midnight. Very cool. So champions, let's move into it. Bel'Veth, the damage reduction decreased. Bug fix to passive. They gave Bel'Veth too many stacks from epic void monsters. Passive death and lavender. Bug fix, totally fine. Royal Maelstrom, damage reduction 42 to 70 to 35 to 55. Not the end of the world, would also not alter why you're playing Death, because this is not your lifesteal belt that used to exist 2 years ago. Okay, Brand. Passive damage to monsters increased. Our damage decrease, cooldown increase. Passive Blaze is going to go back up by 15%, so they're giving him his clear speed back, but even still, he was outpacing other junglers once he ended up getting his items. So they're just making his early clear speeds able to be a little bit faster and on curve than against opponents. Pyroclasm, damage per hit 100 to 300 plus 25% AP to 100 to 250 plus 25% AP. So you really don't actually start to feel it until level 11, and that is 25 off the base, and then you get 50 off the base at the final rank. These would not change why you're playing Brand. It does nerf his maybe initial, first team fight or something at Dragon or whatnot. It's by a very, very minor amount. And the cooldown going up on it is really, really fake because it is a conditional ultimate. You do not just instantly have ult and run somewhere and do something inside of the jungle with it. So again, the cooldown, totally fake news. Even the nerf to it, very, very fake news. In fact, yeah, I mean, this is all fake. Okay. Evelyn, Q damage is decreased. Q hate spike 25 to 45 plus 30% AP to 25 to 45 plus 25% AP. And that is whatever. So she's losing AP ratio. It does nothing for Evelyn really early on as she's powering into her first item. The damage is extremely negligible. And I feel like the Riot is just doing this so that people feel satisfied that Eve is getting nerfed, because it does not actually change when she would be picked, why she's picked, or her ability to find lethals. So Jarvan, the 4th armor growth increase down is decreased. So what they did here is they actually undid the nerfs that they gave to Jarvan in 1323. And so now Jarvan is back online at that ability, or that cooldown, and obviously the Gore Drinker, Spear of Sojin build, and all that other good jazz that was also accompanying these old stats are not currently here, but should keep in mind Jarvan is going to be back with these changes, so that is very nice. Kayn, passive Darken Healing increase, our Darken Healing increase. These are all basically just, I want to call them placebo because, again, it doesn't change why you'd pick Rost. It's not doing anything. And remember, Rost ended up getting hit both directly and indirectly several times over, and this does not undo the damage that he was hit by. So passive healing, 0.5% per 100 bonus health. So obviously, if you got like the Bruiser iteration of Rost, then things are going to be nice there. Our Umbral Trespass is going to be 65% of damage dealt to 75% of damage, 10% more. So like it's such a negligible amount when you consider, again, you're going to be coming out overhealing on a lot of ultimates depending on who you're hitting, and even if you do get the 10% extra heal or something, probably not changing what you're doing immediately exiting the Umbral Trespass. A lot of games would have to be played for this to make a difference. Kog'Maw, passive bonus movement speed increased. Q cast time adjusted, E slow increased, R damage is increased. So passive, Icathian Surprise. Bonus movement speed is 0 to 40% over 4 seconds to 10 to 50% over 4 seconds. So he just starts out the gate with movement speed, and that's obviously nice for his passive. The thing about this is, honestly, it kind of is a misunderstood passive, in that I do think that probably there is dive coordinations where Kog'Maw does dive the turret and he starts aggro and then kill and whatnot. But I don't think that we ever really see coordination like that, even in pro play, which is where it would be found. So in solo queue, realistically, I wish that Kog'Maw would just get a reworked passive. Q, Caustic Spittle, 0.25 seconds to now matches Kog'Maw's auto attack frame time. Very nice. Void slow 30 to 50% to 40 to 60%, so he's getting 10%. So he's actually stripping you of boots tier 1.5. If it ends up hitting you, it's very, very nice. Obviously, that helps with chaining together other abilities, and it probably actually means that he weaves into more auto attacks on a Void Ooze landing. So there's actually a lot of damage packed into this, assuming that it's being used defensively. Even also if it's being used defensively, that's actually a very, very big slow. early on. So Living Artillery, 100 to 180, 65% bonus AD, 35% AP to 100 to 180, plus 75% bonus AD, 35% AP. This is very fake. You're only landing a couple of Rs if, you know, inside of a team fight or something, and Kog'Maw builds a lot of attack speed. He doesn't actually build a whole lot of AD, so even when he does have his AD items, and we're talking, you know, third, fourth items, etc., 10% of his total amount of bonus AD is extremely negligible. This is a total fake news change. Maokai, base movement speed, decreased Q bonus damage to monsters, increased W cooldown is increased. Base movement speed going down, super irrelevant. Bramble Smash, damage to monsters, 80 to 160 to 120 to 160, so they're upping his jungle. And remember, stop going Bomby Cinder. Another video probably going to be coming out on my main YouTube channel that talks about that later on this week. However, today, the Kai'Sa video, as she is the best champion in the game, that video is coming out on my main YouTube channel later. W Twisted Advance, 13 to 9 to 14 to 10. I mean, sort of whatever. This really doesn't matter. I mean, I guess it matters in like 2v2s, in like mid-game 3v3s, etc. But realistically, David Freak Turley did just hit Grandmaster, true. And these changes would not have stopped or, you know, made that happen in particular any different. So, very nice. Nidalee, base movement speed decreased. Cougar, Q bonus damage to hunter targets decreased. Nidalee sucks. Rek'Sai, various quality of life updates and bug fixes. E damage and monster cap increased. R damage is increased. So here's the thing. Rek'Sai is an abomination. I was convinced that last patch notes that it must have been typos. That is how awful those changes were. Now we're getting a bunch of changes here, and you know what? At the end of the day, here's the problem. Rek'Sai is still Rek'Sai. So while we could review all of these changes and everything else that Rek'Sai is trying to go on here, the only time that Rek'Sai ever really becomes viable is because people forget how to play against her gank patterns. That's it. That's everything with Rek'Sai. And all of these changes, you know, we could read few of them. You know, 100 bonus fury damage, 6 to 14% of the target's maximum health to 8 to 14% of the target's maximum health, getting 2% on the max health change. None of these things are addressing Rek'Sai's main problem, which is how telegraphed of a champion that she is. And once people adapt to her gank patterns, she becomes really, really, really there's infinitely better champions to end up picking up because other champions just do what she's trying to do, but better. And she kind of is a jack of all trades, master of none. And in this instance, it actually does hurt. So that is where Rek'Sai sucks. Senna, Q damage has decreased. Piercing Darkness, 30 to 150 plus 50% bonus AD. 30 to 150 plus 40% bonus AD. This does hurt Senna. Doesn't actually hurt Tank Enchanter Senna, but it does definitely hurt Lethality and Crit Senna and all those other. So she is going to be losing probably anywhere from 20 to 30% bonus AD in term, sometimes even more inside of like mid-late game team fights. Seraphine, all abilities are adjusted. So movement speed is up by 5. Mana growth is going to be down by 25 per level. Mana regeneration, however, is doubled, and base AD is down by 5. Passive stage press. Damage 5 to 30 plus 5%, to 4 to 25 based on level linear plus 4% AP. Okay. 300% damage, minion damage modifier has been removed. Q high note, missile speed up by 100, cooldown 10 to 5 to 8 to 6. Very, very, very nice. Mana cost is going to go down at rank 1, but then going to go up later by rank 3. Go up by 5, and remember, her mana is now also down. So, damage is, however, going to up by a flat 5. Maximum damage amp based on missing health, 50 to 60. Nice. No longer affects non-champions, no longer prevents minions from dying to other minions while fight. Okay. W surround sound. Cooldown is going down massively at rank 1, and it'll actually be up by 2 seconds at max rank. Mana cost, however, is also going down pretty much across the board. So, you know, you'll cast this a couple of times inside of laning phase, and so all in all, I mean, her mana is probably going to balance out pretty well early on, but then, yeah, okay. Seraphine bonus movement speed, 20% plus 4% to 20% plus 2%. Does not really matter. Beat drop. Cooldown 11 to 9 seconds, 60, 80 to 60 ranks. Now, you will cast this several times, but again, her mana is going to be pretty much consistent in early laning. Slow duration 1.25 to 1 to 1.5. Doesn't really matter. The damage here is going down by a flat 10 later, up by a flat 10 early. That way, even at range. Also getting 15% AP if you do manage. Hit it. Minion damage is down. Encore is also going to be down by 20% AP. So here's the thing. Seraphine, I saw a lot of people on Twitter, saw a lot of people on Reddit and elsewhere basically saying that Seraphine doesn't have a whole lot of mana game now. The thing is that you come off a Fountain in late game anyway, and you have a limited number of abilities that you cast in a team fight, so it doesn't actually matter, right? You don't need spam ability and all this other type of stuff. So I think in that regard, and if you end up going like AP Seraphine and all this other type of stuff, then you're going to be totally fine. Sivir, base armor increased. Okay, so 4 armor doesn't matter. Smolder, well, actually, I mean, I shouldn't say like it doesn't matter. For just getting a flat 4 armor, I mean, it wouldn't change why you pick Sivir, okay? You're not picking Sivir because you didn't have 1 auto attack worth of HP in laning phase. That's what this is. Okay, that is what this is. So that's it. No one's drafting around 1 auto attack. Okay, we're not superhumans. Smolder, Q adjusted, E bolt quantity adjusted, R damage decreased, sweet spot damage increased, self heal increased. Okay, this is a disaster. Q Super Scorcher Breath, 6.5% of the target's max health to a 2% bonus AD, 1% AP, 0.8% patient stacks of target's max health. Flap, number of bolts, 5 to 10 based on critical strike chance, 5 plus 1 per 50 dragon patient stacks, okay. Mom is now, the damage is going down actually quite considerably, especially at later ranks. Not getting anything there. Sweet spot damage, however, is increased by 20%. Okay, very, very, very nice. So if you hit the sweet spot, you actually will do slightly more than you did before. Amazing. Okay, self heal is also so the self heal is going to also go down, but now it's going to, or so the base is going to go down, but now it goes 50% bonus AD. But Smolder would. Yeah, I mean, this is still totally fine. I mean, everything's balanced out. Okay. Twisted Fate, E bonus attack speed and damage is decreased. So Twisted Fate, this does not actually really hit his AP variants, but it does noticeably hit the problematic Twisted Fate that is just 65, 165. So the base is going to stay the same, but it's losing 55% bonus, which is a really big. For AP Twisted Fate, this does not really matter. Vayne passive movement speed is decreased. Q cooldown increased early. This is obviously nerfing top lane Vayne. Does not really do too much carry Vayne because you don't spam cast Humble. And then the passive Night Hunter, you lose magical footwear. Veigar Q damage increased. R cooldown is decreased. Baleful Strike 80 to 240, and it's now getting 5% more AP. 5% more AP is normally something that I do scoff at, but this is Veigar's most spam. And even in early laning, Veigar actually does accumulate a pretty okay amount of AP. So it probably can help with CSing, I think, in some instances, where maybe he doesn't need to weave an auto on some of the minions a little bit sooner now, or he doesn't have to wait for some minions. So I think it's going to hasten some of the things. And then definitely in the way later stages, he has a lot of AP. That's when... yes, it will start helping a bit. Does it change why you play Veigar? No. Now, our Primordial Burst going down by 20 seconds early on. Veigar is a champion that does look to kill you every single time that his R is up. That is an actual real thing. So he is one of the few champions that is like that. And so getting 20 seconds shaved off means that if Veigar does manage to kill you in laning phase, he will come back and his ultimate will be up again. And that is a really scary thing to play against. Now, obviously, there were 80 carries in the past, like Vayne. This was a really big thing with Final Hour, where the Final Hour cooldown basically matched when she would kill you, come back to lane, and it was up again, and have Final Hour. And so that was very, very problematic, right? I believe even like Moonlight Vigil was like that at one point in time. There's been a bunch of champions where something like this can be problematic, like Fizz with Shark, Chum the Waters, and all this other stuff. Historically, like way long ago, Mordekaiser with Children of the Grave and like all this other great stuff where they just cast their R immediately off cooldown. That is a problem. Vex passive damage increased, E passive and interaction adjusted. Doom and Gloom 30 to 140, 20%, 240 to 150, plus 25%. So getting a flat 10 and getting 5% AP. The thing is that Vex needs so many conditions to exist inside of the game. After durability patch update, change to itemization, how long it takes her to get online. She is just a bad champion. She's a bad girl. Solar Baka, bad guy. She's a bad Yordle. All right, do not play Vex. She needs so much more to go her way. She's not good. All right. Thank you. Yes. Great. Wukong. Passive maximum stack decrease, percentage amplification per stack increase, stack fall off rate adjusted. Maximum number of stacks 10 to 5. Percentage amplification per stack 50 to 100%. Stack fall off rate all at once, one at a time. Massive buffs for top lane Wukong especially. Yorick. E bonus damage to cursed enemies decreased. R maiden armor and magic resistance increased. No longer reduces AoE damage by 50%. Bug fix to evasion interaction. Passive. Shepherd of Souls. Morning Mist. Curse bonus damage for 8 attacks, 30 to 20%. Okay. Eulogy of the Isles. Maiden armor magic resistance is going up massively. This is huge. This is really, really, really big for trying to kill Maiden inside of laning phase. Yeah, that's really big. Bug fix. 1, 2, 3% of max health damage no longer bypasses evasion like Shen's W. Blind dodge. Okay. Zach, W damage is decreased. Unstable matter. Damage 35 to 95 plus 4 to 8%, 3% per 100 AP. Attacker's max health 40 to 80. That's actually quite sizable. Yeah, that's actually quite sizable for a spammable ability. Sure. I think it's totally reasonable nerf. Yeah, anyone's gonna lose their. Celestial Opposition, cooldown 20 to 18, slow duration 1.5 to 2, slow strength 50 to 60, Dreammaker. Alright, so all these things are getting changed. Let's just move. Frozen Heart, 2400 to 2500, doesn't really matter. Also losing 5 armor, still going to be one of the best items in the game. You are still going to be building. This item was Z tier broken, by the way. So, I mean, they're moving it to like, it's still Z tier, but like they are moving it much closer to S. Heartsteel, proc bonus damage 100 plus 10% bonus health from items to 80 plus 12% bonus health from items. Okay. Leviathan or an upgrade. Okay, cool. Solstice Slay, cooldown 20 to 30, bonus health 70% max health 50 to okay. Item tracker, Spear of Sojin. Spells can now grant 1 stack per cast, up to 1 per second for spells that deal combat. Okay. Sunfire Aegis health is going to be 450 to 500. Immolate base damage is going to be 12 to 15. Do not build this item. If you build Sunfire Aegis or you build Hollow Radiance, you are griefing. Stay on Bommies if you're a Bommies user, and you're only a Bommies user if it saves your rotation. If it doesn't save your rotation, do not build Bommies. And what do I mean by a rotation? Well, for example, Ornn, right? Ornn likes to QWE to wave clear, right? With Bommies, he's able to save an extra ability rotation on having to clear the wave. Tom Kench is a champion or something that would build Bommies, right? Because it helps him do in top lane. Champions that literally need Bommies to help them save an ability cast so that they're able to use it for other things. Those are Bommies users. Bommies is already and should be stopped being built inside of the jungle, and then there are some champions that are building it even in top lane, sometimes like here and Dante, who should also stop building Bommies and just learn to play without Bommies, because the item Sunfire Aegis, Hollow Radiance feels really, really, really bad. You only really ever finish Sunfire, like 4th. Hollow Radiance, you'd never actually finish it. You would actually sell Bommies and buy something else in order to avoid purchasing it, unless you have never put your mouse cursor over the item in game and then used your eyes to read the item. AP Assassin items, Lichbane, 75% base AD, 50% AP, 75% base AD, 45% AP, does not matter. Storm Surge, this is laughably one of the worst items in the game that for some reason so many people build, and I don't get it. Movement speed is going to go up by 3%, don't care. Hextech, Rocket Belt, total price going up by 100, ability power going up by 10. This item is absolutely garbage as well. These are very, very, very laughable changes. Rocket Belt is used still by, I guess, some champions, and they actually will appreciate the 10 extra AP in exchange for 100 gold, but that's pretty much it. ARAM balance changes. I will start reading them once ranked ARAM comes out, if that is a thing, and then let's just get to the skins. So, all right, so this is Gangplank, so we already know that Solar Baka is going to be buying this. Honestly, I'm a little surprised this skin's not coming out in June. That's all I got to say. What the hell is this? Neferi! One of the worst champions in the entire game. If you buy this skin, you are celebrating just playing an awful champion. This champion had... It's just depression, okay? One of potentially the best possible releases that Riot could have gone for, and I am still a little bit sad that I was not given a Neferi dagger, as apparently there were only like 10 of those things made. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I don't even know how many content creators actually posted about it. Riot does this thing for certain champions where they make really rare pieces of memorabilia about the champion's release, and they give them away to certain people. And I think Midbeast actually got a Neferi dagger, and I was super, super, super jealous. However, I did not know, I talked about this on my last co-stream, Riot actually sent me the one of the 10 Smolders that was made. The Smolder toy, or like plushie, whatever it is. And I'll probably show it when I actually get it back. I didn't know what it was, and so I listen. It's at my friend's house. I did not know what it was. I did not open the box, and then I realized, like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I actually thought it was like clothes, because Riot obviously has sent me some clothes. And by the way, Riot Games has, like, Riot is the most consistent at making amazing merch. Like the MSI hoodies that I've gotten, the Worlds hoodies, etc., all amazing quality. They always stay very, very durable, like through washes or whatever you do to them. They're the fabric, everything, super, super, super good material. Absolutely love all of the Riot merch that I ever. And so I just thought it was more Riot merch, and so I actually had, yeah. Talk about it later. Anyways, that's it. The Jack skin does look a little bit cool, although honestly, I don't know why, but this looks like Kindred and Master Yi had a child. And you know what? We're just going to leave it on that. So that is it, guys. 13-5 recap on all of the champions. Will this change anything for Patron? Will it change anything for the tier lists or anything in competitive? And the answer to that is no. There's actually nothing on here sizable enough. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Jarvan will be an addition, and I guess for competitive, yes, Twisted Fate actually does get hit. So there's two really big changes here. It's Twisted Fate and it's Jarvan, but obviously Twisted Fate still does have the AP iteration, which everything's going to be fine for. Outside of that, there's not really any changes. Now we just pray the Curse of 6 is not a thing, and we will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on the FlyQuest LoL YouTube channel, and I will see you guys all later. Bye-bye.